Hello my friends, my name is Ryan Freeman. Thank you for coming to my life as a foreign English teacher in Taiwan. In this video, I'm going to talk about the big salary increase that was recently announced. I'm a few weeks late. I found out about it on a website called Forumosa. If you have a question about living in Taiwan, about your scooter license, about how to do business, about marrying a Taiwanese person, legal matters, you want to sell something, any question at all, including teaching English in Taiwan, this is a website that has been a good resource for me and for many others. Now, you could go onto Facebook groups, you could go onto Reddit, but I think Forumosa is a good resource for you. And under the thread about the salary for public school English teachers, I saw that someone posted there was an increase this year. So this is how it works. The government, the Ministry of Education, MOE, will periodically raise the salary scale for foreign English teachers. However, not all contracts in Taiwan will reflect that salary increase. This is an important point. Even though the Ministry of Education says, okay, starting this year, foreign English teachers are getting a salary increase, you would think it would be uniform across all of Taiwan. However, for whatever reason, some schools, some recruiting agencies, some districts will be a little late to the party. This happened to me, I believe, my first year, actually, when I was in Taoyuan. I was operating under an older salary scale, whereas the people who were under the official MOE contract were getting paid for the same amount of work experience and qualifications that I had. And I was very upset about that, and I asked my recruitment company, PD, I said, what's going on? And they said, well, it's because we had already made all the contracts before the MOE had released it, and so it was, like gonna be a little too much to go through and change it. So the MOE is always the first to the party, and if you are thinking about applying with a recruitment agency, if you want to guarantee that you will always have the most up-to-date contract, including the salary scale, then you want to apply through TFETP because they, to my knowledge, always use the most current MOE contract. But if you go through PD or Teach Taiwan or another agency, they may use the most up-to-date one, they may not. During my second year and during my third year looking for a new school, PD had schools that offered the most up-to-date complete MOE contract with the best salary scale, the best perks, and then they offered schools that didn't. So this is something that once you sign that contract, whether it's using the new one or the old one, you're pretty much locked into it. So you want to make sure that before you sign that contract, and I would advise you, if you are just finding out about this salary increase, you can find it on the TFETP website under downloads. If you are just finding out about this and you're not with TFETP, I would advise you to talk to your agent right away, because this time right now in June is a time where a lot of contracts are being drafted. This month, next month, perhaps the contracts have already been drafted by your school. My school is currently drafting the contract, and when the school drafts it, they have to send it to the city for approval. and then the agency will get a hold of it, and then finally it will get to you, and work permits will be applied for, and all of that. My advice to you would be to talk to your school either directly or talk to your agent and try to make sure that you get the current salary scale. We're not talking about a massive amount of money difference, but it is a difference, and every bit helps. So let's just go over some of the differences, okay? Sorry, I had a lot of really good coffee this morning. I was going to 7-Eleven for my coffee, and then yesterday they had a huge line, and then I went to 85 Degrees Cafe. Got the same size Americano, but the Americano at 85 Degrees was 15 Taiwanese dollars more, so 50 US cents more, but a lot better taste and a lot more caffeine. All right, so back to the salary. So, for example, if you're operating under the one that hasn't taken effect yet, the salary scale that I'm on, the salary scale that most teachers are on, the one that was current for last year, if you were, let's say, you only had a bachelor's degree and you had 0 work experience, you would have earned 67,840 new Taiwanese dollars a month. And then, of course, you would get that 5,000 for housing accommodation added to that, so it would go a little higher. But let's just go through with just the base salary. So you'd earn about 67,840, so about 68,000. And then under the new one, you will earn same, only bachelor's degree, no experience. You would earn 69,880. So we're looking at a $2,040 difference. $2,040 difference is in US dollars about $70, roughly about 70 US dollars more per month. And you're saying, is that really so much to try to enter into some negotiations with my school? You know, I don't want to, you know, there's a lot of foreign English teachers that the prevalent view is they don't like to push things with their school. They don't like to argue. They just want to be as accommodating as possible. And I think that that is a very important part, important skill to have, you know, to not upset, to not rock the apple cart, to be able to be someone that they like working with. However, sometimes you do have to push for what you want, right? This is an agreement, and particularly around contract time, this is a time you should be thinking about it, because $2,040 difference, you know, I mean, that's about 70 US dollars. That's a lot of Uber Eats, you know. That's an HSR ticket to Taipei. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but we don't earn a lot to begin with here in Taiwan, right? So every bit helps, and accumulating over the course of the entire school year, plus you get the bonuses. Some cities offer just one bonus at the end of the school year. Jiayi City, not all schools, offer a Chinese New Year bonus. You get 2 bonuses. So I think fighting for even 2,000, not fight, but bring it to their attention and just say that this is something you would like. And it is not like you're asking for something that is above and beyond what the current MOE contract says. You're just asking for the most up-to-date salary scale. So let's say you have a master's degree with 5 years experience. The difference is you would get 82,310 under the old one, and you would earn 86,490. So about 2,500 difference. So now we're looking at over $80 difference. So we're looking at, you know, between 2,000 to 3,000 for a couple of these data points increase in your salary if you get the current salary scale. And like I said, if you're going through TFETP, most likely you won't even need to worry about it, but do check the salary scale. Remember, go on to their website under downloads so you get a copy of it yourself, or go into Forumosa, where I went, and look for the relevant thread under Foreign English Teacher Salary. So I contacted my recruiter and told them I heard about it. And she said she heard about it. And she said, but I don't know if your school will include it. Well, I said, well, this is something very important to me. So I want you to tell them, please. And I want you to fight for it, So I tried to really assert that this was something that is very important to me. And I know she contacted them because I heard them in the office discussing it. And I believe my school has approved it. And that's great news. So this is what I want. My agent told them, my school said, okay, but the contract will still have to be approved by the city government. And I have had experience in the past, last year, where I signed a contract for this amount of salary, and then the salary changed. And then I was told that's not even the right contract. We're going to go with this contract, and my salary got reduced. Now, my school was very apologetic. I had to have a meeting with the principal. It was the very beginning of the school year. I was already working. They apologized, and they made up to me in another way. But I was not happy for quite a long time. It was something that really bothered me. I signed a contract for this amount of money, and then now all of a sudden it's changed, and now I'm getting this amount. You've changed a lot of things in this contract. But they made up for it, and I ended up falling quite head over heels for this school in comparison to my other schools. So it didn't really matter. Plus, I ended up with the new contract getting the Chinese New Year bonus. And so anyways, that's all water under the bridge. I'm not trying to complain about that. But the point is that contracts, even after agreements, can shift. Now, my case last year with them throwing out the contract I signed, well, I don't think that's a common thing. But do remember that even after agreements, look at the contract and make sure it is what you agreed for. Make sure there haven't been too many changes. And there might be. And this is one big flaw in the entire system, is that because the contracts come out so late, my contract probably won't even be finished till the end of this month. And I'm going to be flying back to America in early July. It's almost too late. It's not too late, but it's almost too late where, let's say they don't include the new salary increase, which, is not a lot of money, but it's enough, to make a difference. What do? Do I say, okay, well, I'm not going to sign this contract. I'm going to go look for another job. Well, it's kind of a little late to start the application process, right? So that's a big problem. Now, some cities actually do hire teachers a little bit later, like in August, and sometimes even in September after the school year started. Like Kaohsiung doesn't even know which recruiting company will get the bid for next school year. So there is always an option to, like, even last minute before you sign the contract, to switch and find another school. But it just makes everything unnerving, right? Because you got to rent apartments and things like that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the city here and my school and my agent and we're all on the same page, we're all on board, and that I will have no problems, because I'm a very nice guy, I'm a very accommodating guy. I like to make my schools as happy as possible, but it really does bother me when I make an agreement and then the rug gets pulled out from under me last minute, all right? And it can raise my ire, so to say. All right, so that's all I wanted to talk about. And one last thing about money, I just wanted to say one way you can save money in Taiwan. Oh, no, first. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go back to that. First, I just wanted to say that this information, although you can find it, not everyone knows. I was at a party, going away party for some foreign English teachers. There was like entire Jiayi public school foreign English teachers just about. And I brought it up to the people at my table, people who have been teaching here a long time, people who are checking the latest news for foreign English teachers. No one knew about it. Their agents didn't tell them. They didn't know about it, so I showed it to them. So not everyone knows about this. And lastly, if you want to save money, I recommend using my phone. I'm not being paid. They're not a sponsor. I recommend using my phone, which is part of Taiwan Mobile. I pay 350 new Taiwanese dollars every 2 months. So that's like 175 new Taiwanese dollars a month, which is what, 650? I'm 650? Yeah, 650, I believe. I don't know what it is, or less than that. I pay 350 new Taiwanese dollars for 6.4 gigabytes and, I don't know, 30 minutes of call time. Maybe it's more than that. Because I primarily use Wi-Fi, I don't need unlimited data. My service, my connectivity is really well. Even going into the mountains, I have internet and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're someone who needs all you can eat, they say all you can eat data, maybe that won't be the best for you. But they do have plans for that as well. It's a sort of a prepaid system, so you have to go every 2 months and pay it again. You could do it at 7-Eleven, you can do it online, or you could do it at one of the My Phones. I'll bring up the look of the store. It's the symbol that you will recognize. You can go in there and tell them you want to do a month by month prepaid system, and you can save a lot of money. And you can pick the various plan, the plan that works for you. You can pay even less. And so I pay less than any other foreign English teacher I've ever met. And I don't run out of data unless I go over the 2-month mark and I just forget. So that's another way you can save money. And anyways, my name is Ryan Freeman. Thank you for watching this video. Write your questions and comments down below. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.